I just saw a post on here from a boundaries coach. She was saying about how her therapist told her that going no contact would ruin her life right after she told her that she was going to go no contact from her narcissistic mother. I have a narcissistic mother, but I know how to deal with that because that's what therapy taught me.
So she's better than those of us who couldn't tolerate our relationships with our narcissistic parents. So her therapy was better than my therapy. Oh my God. And by the way, when she's like, she's not buying her own bullshit. And I found the video she's talking about. Let's let her unpack it. And then I'm going to play it for you.
It taught me how to manage my mental health, how to navigate, how to have the capacity to maneuver around my mother's narcissistic tendencies without going no contact. I would never go no contact from my mother. My mother is a piece of work. Let's just start there. And she is narcissistic. And I don't know.
I would never go no contact with my mother. I just learned how to navigate her. And as an estranged parent, I expected the same thing from my children. You might want to go back to therapy.
You take the easy way out. You don't really want to do the work on yourself. You don't really want to fix yourself. You just want peace, right?
You don't want to fix yourself. You just want peace. That's awful. You just want to take the easy way out. That breaks my heart. I am a therapist for adult survivors of narcissistic family systems. And that can range from actually having a mother like this one, or a mother like mine. Mine was a sociopath and a narcissist. Or having a mother who was emotionally immature, who actually can benefit from therapy, and those relationships can be salvaged. And those are actually a lot of times worth staying in because they can be, if that parent is willing to do their own stuff, right? She wants the abuser to be accommodated. And that's what she considers doing the work. So continue to abandon and betray yourself to be in a relationship with someone who harms you, and just build a shell around that so that you're not hurt by it anymore. That's a great quality of relationship to have. Yeah, I want to get me one of those. In fact, I'll just call my mother. The easy way out. It breaks my heart for all the clients that I see who are in agony over feeling like they failed as a daughter or a son, not understanding why they can't stay in that relationship and find a way to suck it up, dealing with holidays and family times where they don't have any of that anymore, stressing out about things like not having an emergency contact or any family. Oh yeah, but it's the easy way out. She can fuck right off with that. Like, well, yeah, I got it. I got the mic. She can fuck right off with that. But wait, we're not done yet.
You need your mother out of your life because you need the peace. You need your mental state to be calm. Well, let me tell you something. Kicking your mother out of your life because she's narcissistic or has narcissistic tendencies doesn't help you. You may think it does, but it doesn't.
Bitch, I've been out 30 years. I'm not calling her a bitch. I've been out for 30 years. It is the best decision I ever made, even through all the times of loneliness, all the times of having literally nobody to lean on. I've had to do lots and lots and lots of things all alone with no safety net. And the only thing I would do different is do it sooner. Without question, my mother would have sabotaged me in any way she could at every turn, and she would have destroyed my relationships with my children because that's what she was working to do. And I went no contact to protect my children, not to protect myself. I didn't know I deserved protection at the time. They were 6 and 3 years old. So that's what I got to say about that.
Doesn't help you. You may think it does, but it doesn't teach you how to deal with that kind of, disappointment, heartbreak. It doesn't teach you how to have the capacity to manage your mental health.
I already knew how to deal with that heartbreak and manage my mother because that's what I did my entire childhood. What the fuck is she talking about? We leave because we don't want to manage them anymore and need to learn how to love ourselves after being taught by them that we're not worthy of love and that we have to earn it. We didn't learn how to manage our environment. Managing our environment is all we did, and we were trapped in it. What we didn't learn was that we had a right to have a peaceful environment. We had a right to show up for ourselves. We had a right to prioritize our needs. Those are the things we didn't learn. Learning how to navigate and manage our narcissistic parent, that was our superpower that kept us alive. What the hell is she talking about? Wow. I say this all the time, but for those of you that are new, when I screen record these videos, and I screen record them because I don't want any connection to these people. I don't want to throw any views their way, any flying monkeys, none of the things. I don't want to be who they are. I also screen record them because as fast as they go up, they will pull them back down. They change their identities. They get banned online, all these different things. So I screen record them in the moment. And I may watch it while I'm screen recording it, or I might have watched just the very beginning of it to see the flavor. And then I'm kind of like, okay, this is one that I could use. Man, she makes me snarky sparky. Anyway, and then I don't watch it again until now. So I'm not scripting. I'm not deciding how I'm going about this. This is basically live without being live kind of thing. So yeah, okay, let's go.
All of you out there who are going no contact because you have narcissistic parents, it's not helping you. It's not helping you. Doing the work will help you. I hear people say that the work was so hard. They're getting their mental health back on track was just so hard. The work is just, and parents just won't do that. Well, this parent did. This parent did. And the hard work isn't dropping your parents. The hard work is in you. So if you can't do the hard work, then you're just wimping out. You want everything the easy way. Getting control of your mental health isn't easy. It's not easy. And learning how to have grace, compassion, and understanding for your parents, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. That's where the work comes in. But you don't want to do that. You want to walk away. Make it easy. My life has been great since I got rid of my narcissistic mother. Except you don't have your mother in your life, which is an important thing. Even though she has narcissistic tendencies, and she can be really difficult at times. She's always there for you. Mine is.
Thank goodness my mother's not in my life. I don't know what is going on with my banks today. Anyway, that's why I'm safe. And yeah, she's never been there for me. That's actually true. The one time she kind of showed up, she then weaponized it. So she played the hero and the victim of me. So it was very short-lived, and it was a way to hoover me back in. So it was really a gigantic manipulation. So, you know, I think this is an estranged parent that recently, and I'm going to have to double check, her daughter came back, and now I'm sure of it as I talk about it. She actually states, I have no idea why she went no contact. We're just in a relationship again. And when I hear that, what that tells me is the daughter's trying again. And as long as she continues to double down on her behavior the way that she does, it's probably going to devolve again. So the jury's out. It's been very short-lived. And fun little fact for my estrangement community, no matter what side of the track you're on, in the first 3 years, most estranged adult children come back more times than once, actually. Because as they go through the healing process, they feel like, okay, I have the tools now to deal with my narcissistic parent. I can handle what they dish at me. And they go back and they see that nothing has changed, and they're feeling like crap, and they're unhappy, and their nervous system is dysregulated from all of the input that they're receiving from that parent who hasn't changed, and they go no contact again. Then they go in again because they go, okay, this time I've really got it. And maybe I can help them learn some of the things that I've learned and have these deeper conversations to actually do some healing here. And again, they discovered that that parent hasn't changed at all because they haven't done the work. And it's a validation that they're not going to change. And at that point, the chances are they're just going to estrange again, and it's done and dusted. Sometimes a few times more, but pretty rarely. I see this day in and day out because this is what I do for a living. I see my clients do it. I hear stories about it. I research it. It's a thing that happens. So I think she's in that 3-year place. And the fact that she has no clue why her daughter is estranged means that they have no conversations around it. And it could be low contact. It could be that her daughter is navigating the relationship with her the way that she role modeled navigating the relationship with her mother. And maybe she's, tolerable. I don't find her tolerable, but I'm not in a relationship with her. So there's that. And by the way, I'm going to play the video within this that she's referring to. And I just want to say that the way that she has represented that video is that the therapist told her that going no contact would ruin her life, and she kind of left it there. So this boundaries coach who talks about that, she really just left it there. Like, basically, oh, don't go no contact or it'll ruin your life. And that's what the therapist said, kind of thing. And I'm calling your attention to that because it's going to be important information for you to file away for when you hear what the content or context of that statement was and where it ended up. There's still a little left on her. But wait, there's more.
Mine is. It's a pain in the ass. It's a piece of work. And she's always there. And boy, am I glad that I did the work. Because now I know how to have capacity. I learned compassion, understanding. And now I'm hoping my sister does. So I finally got her into counseling. We have a difficult mother. But actually doing the work has taught me a lot of things. And it's taught me a lot of things about all of you. I didn't take the easy way out.
It's taught me a lot of things about all of you who I'm better of and sit in judgment of. And I got my sister because I'm so amazing into therapy, and hopefully she'll talk to our mother again too. She's just so wonderful, isn't she? She's great because her way is the only right way to conduct or have relationships. We should never leave our narcissistic parent. Of course not. Oh, is she for real? I think she is for real. Just wow.
I didn't take the easy way out. I didn't just cut her off. I worked on myself. And that's what you all need to do.
So she worked on herself so that she could stand in judgment of others. Wow. I'm looking for the empathy there. It's just, there are definitely times and relationships where we can develop tools as adult children to navigate a parent. When you're dealing with a parent who's passed down trauma, who is emotionally immature, not the narcissistic, abusive kind of parent who really is intending to cause harm or is, because intentions don't matter, is causing harm. No matter what you do, there's no wiggle room. Nothing is getting any better. And actually, it's probably getting worse, right? When you're dealing with an emotionally immature parent, because I do have some emotionally immature parents who are my clients, and I have some of their children, and I have them in separate therapies. Every now and again we come together and things are improving, and they're improving on both sides. So they're improving for the emotionally immature parents, the ones who are able to tolerate facing some of their past traumas and acknowledging that, feeling pain around that isn't a sign of weakness, and learning about what respect means and what disrespect means as opposed to how they feel about it because of their own growing up experience, learning about boundaries and different things like that. They're doing their own healing work, and they're probably always going to have a bit of a bouncing up and down because they're fragile. They have some fragile emotional immaturity, condition stuff, depending on the age that they are and things like that. And life is changing. Their relationships with their adult children are changing, and they're trying to figure out how to navigate all of that. And typically those parents that I get are because their adult children are with me and asking them to come in as well. It's not usually the parent and then the adult child. I have a few, but it's usually the other way around. And for the adult children, helping them to understand better ways to communicate so that their parent may hear them in a different way. That is a strategy of helping them bridge some gaps, right? And even helping them as siblings sometimes learning how to communicate with one another, because when you have an emotionally immature parent, a lot of times that parent fractures the relationships that the siblings have. And they need to do some repair there too. So is that teaching resilience? No, it's not teaching resilience because they already had to be resilient. And I know that that's part of what she goes back to in other videos. What it's teaching is how to pick and choose what you go to war over and how to make it not be a war kind of thing. As parents raising children, we should be picking and choosing our battles, right? And deciding what's important to address and what's not, and not getting involved in all the minutia. And as an adult child of somebody who is an emotionally immature parent, if we can pick and choose the things that we grab onto, we might have a shot of actually having the good parts with that parent and actually end up in a relationship that has quality to it, and that it's not all or mostly causing emotional harm and damage where you have to then, try to guard your mental health, as she's kind of alluding to in this, right? So not every situation is black and white. And there are definitely things and tools that we can have in place. And it doesn't have to be as harsh as gray rocking with certain family situations and dynamics. It's not baby out with the bathwater. When you're dealing though with a narcissistic parent, somebody who knows that they're causing harm, you've told them how they're causing harm, and now they've weaponized that, you're dealing with someone where even when you learn how to navigate one part of what they're doing, they will find something else because they see that you're detached and that they can't gain emotional control over you. So they're going to go to something else. It's always going to be like this game of whack-a-mole, right? And that doesn't work in relationships. I mean, why would you want to be in a relationship like that? Because it's your parent, it should be the safest relationship, not the one that's the most difficult to navigate. So I just kind of wanted to give that little 2 cents. And I think there's another second in here. Okay, no, there wasn't. Okay, so now let's look at the boundaries coach video, and I'm going to play it in full. Also, at the end of this video, I will play both videos in full so that you can see them all the way through. I like to allow people to know that I keep things in context, that I'm not chopping them up or editing them and, you know, trying to make it seem like one thing when it's another, like she does.
I saw a therapist who told me that my life would be completely ruined if I ever went no contact with my family right after I told her that I had just decided to go no contact with my family. I'm going to tell you how that all turned out. By the way, I'm Tori. I'm a therapist and boundaries coach, and I grew up with a narcissist mom. I've also done close to 2 decades of therapy. And at this particular part of my cycle-breaking journey, I was seeing a relatively new therapist to me. She was Ivy League trained. She claimed to have a ton of experience with complicated family dynamics. I doubt that now, but I was going to her specifically because I was having a lot of issues dealing with stress related to my family situation. I came into therapy one day and I just had another major blowout with my family, and they all went along the similar lines where I would go with the best intentions. I would show up. I would be poked at. I would have things told to me that I had asked people not to say to me. I am my family's scapegoat. And so these family events always sucked for me. They were the worst. It didn't matter how I approached them. I was constantly picked at, and then they would look at each other and pretend like I was the crazy one. And this is how it went over and over and over and over and over again. And so I came into therapy this day. I told her I just had another situation like this. I was distraught about it. I was just completely devastated. I was ashamed for the way that I responded to all of this behavior. I felt exhausted. I felt so overwhelmed by the fact that this only happened with my family and 2 other extremely toxic relationships I've had in my life. I had gotten to the point where I had told my family, I need some space. I need time. I don't like the version of myself that comes out when I am around you. And at this point, I need to take a break. So that had already been said. I am telling my therapist this. I am crying on the couch. I am saying that I have hit my limit and I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind. And then she looks at me and she says, you can't go no contact with your family. You need to try harder to make it work. Because if you go no contact with your family, like, you will never recover. That is not something anyone should ever do under any circumstances. And I'm looking at her like through teary-eyed eyes thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just described a lifetime of abuse. We had been talking about my lifetime of abuse at this point for 2 or 3 months. I just described another situation where I went with the best intentions. I went with a plan as to how I wanted to handle and navigate things. And it still got to the point where I couldn't take it, where I broke down, where I was crying, where I was acting in a way that was childish. It was going back to my childhood where I was, essentially like fighting my way for people to see me and to just respect my boundaries and appreciate me. And she's looking at me and she's telling me that I can't do what I've already done. In that dynamic, in that moment, I was feeling so unseen. I was feeling so judged. I was feeling exactly how I felt in my family situation. And I was feeling that way because just like I'd done with my family, I had shared all of these vulnerable things with this woman. I had talked with her about all of these patterns, this cycle of behavior, how I'm ashamed of the way that I react in these situations. And I had told her that I had done something that was so hard for me and so not what I wanted to do. I had told my family that I'm not going to be in contact with them for the indefinitely, right? I had told them I need space. I don't like this version of me. I don't want to do this anymore. I need you to leave me alone. I had done that. I didn't do it because I was happy about it. I didn't do it because that's what I wanted. I did it because I couldn't keep going down this path without destroying myself. This was such a toxic cycle. This was such a toxic dynamic for me that if I did not do that, I knew I would be choosing to self-destruct by maintaining these relationships and continue with the dynamic that it was currently. And so to have a therapist who I thought I could trust, who I thought I could come to for compassion and empathy, for her to do the same thing that my family had done to me my entire life was just so devastating. It was so shame-inducing. It was so hurtful and harmful and awful. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is because after so many years of working with people like us, cycle breakers, as a therapist myself, I am told time and time again how many experiences like that other cycle breakers encounter throughout attempts at their own healing journey. And these are people who desperately want to heal. They are willing to do the work. I was willing to do the work. I was trying to do the work to get out of the dysfunction. I was trying to take accountability for what was in my control. And if you have an experience like this with a therapist, I want to tell you a few things. I want to tell you, 1, it's not you. 2, that therapist is not the right therapist for you. They're never going to get it. That is so inappropriate for a therapist to tell you what you need to do and to not see how they are also playing the same role that people who have traumatized you have played in your life. That is not the therapist for you. But there are therapists out there who actually do get it and who are not going to do that to you. And so I want you to know that if this is your experience, I get it because it happens to a lot of us. And don't give up.
So now that you've seen the entirety of her video, I didn't cut it, I didn't clip it, I didn't do anything to it. Do you see how this other estranged, maybe not estranged parent, tried to leverage that for her own narrative? It's pretty disgusting when I see it now, because now that I've played them both back to back. And I also want to talk about healing and navigating relationships and all that in there. And even also providing trauma-informed care, which I'm going to do a little video on. One of the things that you need to ask any therapist that you go to is if they're trauma-informed, in my opinion, especially dealing with a background of coming from childhood trauma. And so what does that mean? Well, part of what that means is they're going to meet you where you are. They're going to create safety. They're going to validate you. They're going to help you clarify your experiences. And they're going to do it from a place where you know that you're heard, that you're safe, because a lot of it has to do with the kinds of language that we use and the questions that we do or do not ask. And even talking about outcomes and what you'd like to get out of therapy and having some feelings around that so that you can have some tangible things that you're working on, and also so that you know that you're both on the same page. It's building trust. And I'm giving you a very simplified version of what trauma-informed care is. And when she's talking about these experiences and, talking about healing and then the contrast of learning how to manage relationships, which is not really what this other estranged parent was talking about. That estranged parent was not talking about navigating relationships. She was talking about how to just suck it up, buttercup, and do it better than everybody else. That's how that felt to me anyway. We have to be in a place, we should be in a place, we owe it to ourselves to be in a place where we choose the relationships that we want to be in based on how they make us feel and based on how loyal we are to ourselves first and foremost. So learning how to navigate or change some things in your communication style because maybe you didn't learn effective conflict resolution skills, for example, I wonder why, should not go against the grain of your true feelings. There should never be, and I'll go absolute on this one, self-betrayal going on within that. Part of healing is learning how to navigate difficult situations, and a bigger part of that is learning how to do that without being willing to betray yourself in the process. And I think I'm going to leave this one there. I was going to, but I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry for her experience, and I get a lot of clients who come from that same experience as well. And so I think, good questions to ask are about trauma-informed care, what their belief system is around keeping families intact, what that looks like, what their personal experience is in terms of, do they have any touches with what you're going through? So that doesn't mean you ask them what their personal experience is and they have to share their trauma, because that's not appropriate, but rather, well, what kind of family system do you come from? Or do you have touches with this? Do you have hardcore opinions on how this should roll out each and every time? That sort of thing might help you save some time. And sometimes it's luck of the draw, and sometimes we have to try a few different therapists. And I agree with her wholeheartedly. I was looking for her name, but I can't see it on my screen. Don't give up. That's really the message that I want you left with. Don't give up. Don't give up on therapy because you had a bad experience, because, just like any relationship, not every relationship is going to be the right fit. And a client-therapist relationship is a relationship. It may not be a friendship. It may not be a family relationship. However, it is an actual relationship. It has all the components that a relationship has in terms of having to have safety and trust and being seen built in. So I leave you with that. Thank you so much for being here. And, I'll see you soon.
I just saw a post on here from a boundaries coach. She was saying about how her therapist told her that going no contact would ruin her life right after she told her that she was going to go no contact from her narcissistic mother. I have a narcissistic mother, but I know how to deal with that because that's what therapy taught me. It taught me how to manage my mental health, how to navigate, how to have the capacity to maneuver around my mother's narcissistic tendencies without going no contact. I would never go no contact from my mother. My mother is a piece of work. Let's just start there. And she is narcissistic. And I don't know. I just you take the easy way out. You don't really want to do the work on yourself. You don't really want to fix yourself. You just want peace, right? You need your mother out of your life because you need the peace. You need your mental state to be calm. Well, let me tell you something. Kicking your mother out of your life because she's narcissistic or has narcissistic tendencies doesn't help you. You may think it does, but it doesn't teach you how to deal with that kind of, disappointment, heartbreak. It doesn't teach you how to have the capacity to manage your mental health, So all of you out there who are going no contact because you have narcissistic parents, it's not helping you. It's not helping you. Doing the work will help you. I hear people say that the work was so hard. They're getting their mental health back on track was just so hard. The work is just, and parents just won't do that. Well, this parent did. This parent did. And the hard work isn't dropping your parents. The hard work is in you. So if you can't do the hard work, then you're just wimping out. You want everything the easy way. Getting control of your mental health isn't easy. It's not easy. And learning how to have grace, compassion, and understanding for your parents, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. That's where the work comes in. But you don't want to do that. You want to walk away. Make it easy. My life has been great since I got rid of my narcissistic mother. Except you don't have your mother in your life, which is an important thing. Even though she has narcissistic tendencies and she can be really difficult at times, she's always there for you. Mine is. She's a pain in the ass. She's a piece of work. But she's always there. And boy, am I glad that I did the work. Because now I know how to have capacity. I learned compassion, understanding. And now I'm hoping my sister does. So I finally got her into counseling. We have a difficult mother. But actually doing the work has taught me a lot of things. And it's taught me a lot of things about all of you. I didn't take the easy way out. I didn't just cut her off. I worked on myself. And that's what you all need to do.